Morning, Marcus Conte reporting. Morning, everybody. Welcome. We're also listening to the genius of Mozart. Did Mozart actually sound like that? There is a question. If you're a musical-minded person, you know that the interpretation of music can be very different than what it actually sounded like. I'll play more of that later. Right, it's because classical music was not recorded. Remember, it was way before the recording, the device of recording. Right, the practice of recording music. You made music and then you recorded. Something's not right here. What the hell? Stay put, man. My microphone is moving. It's got like a mind of its own, man. What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on, man? This fucking bullshit, fucking. Defective fucking bullshit. I can't get my microphone to stay still. It's moving forward. It's like it's on a hill. It's like I'm on a hill. Anyway, but I don't know what I was just saying. Oh, yeah, music, right? So a long time ago, music wasn't recorded, right? You didn't hear it. You didn't know what it sounded like. They wrote it down. It's like fucking chicken scratch on a piece of paper. That's not music. Music is not scratch on a piece of paper. It's the visceral interpretation of the musician's blood and soul, if there is such a thing. But Joe Biden wants you to believe that he's fighting for the soul of the nation. What is the soul? Joe Biden, what is the soul? Where is the soul? Is the soul here? Is the soul here? Is the soul over there? What is the soul? Is there really a body, mind, and spirit? Are they separate? I don't know. I don't think so. So Joe Biden, what are you fighting for, man? You're fighting for the soul of the nation. That's what we saw last night. The soul, the battle, the soul of the nation. Wow. So we'll look at that a little bit. It's so boring. It's such gaslighting, but it's such an effective campaign because there is no dissenting voices. Nothing. There's no rally, no convention to show opposing points of view. All the mainstream media have shut off their chats. The best you can hope for is a little thumbs up while it's happening, and thumbs up, thumbs down to try to gauge what the hell people are thinking about what they're watching. While you're losing your fucking mind saying this is garbage and bullshit and you turn it off, what do other people think? I think most other people think the same, but it doesn't I guess in authoritarian 1984-ish living, you're not allowed to dissent. We just put that fucking shit right on YouTube and direct it at you. Direct our $2 billion worth of propaganda right in your fucking face. And you can't say anything about it. You got to sit there and take it if you feel like watching it. If you don't feel like watching it, well, then they win anyway because then there is no dissent. Not watching is not dissent. That's just, they interpret that as, we'll get them in 3 months. Right? So there's all that going on, right? Bad strategy by the DNC. DNC is now over. We'll now look for the RNC to step in. And the big story really is Steve Bannon. Wow, fucking Steve Bannon. I like Steve Bannon. I always have liked Steve Bannon, although I don't agree with him completely, but who do we ever agree with completely? I agree, and I totally incredibly admire his ability to take the temperature of the country. I think that he was one of the single reasons why Trump was elected. And it now makes sense why they would go after him for fraud or whatever else. So I have that indictment. I'll read it to you. We'll listen to what President Trump has said about this. Is it just another one of these? Like, is it at the end of an era? You got Flynn in the Oval Office. There's Bannon, Flynn. But Steve Bannon has been indicted on federal fraud charges in the case of Build the Wall. We Build the Wall, where the people build the wall. They raised $25 million, and the allegation is that pretty significant allegation, pretty solid in terms of reading the indictment. I don't know if it's true or not. We're going to find out. But it is pretty damning where they raised $25 million saying that they would never take a dime, and then subsequently paid all 4 officers, including Bannon, upwards of $1 million each. Bannon allegedly got $1 million for his voluntary work. So when you come out into the public in a nonprofit, just like Hillary Clinton's, like the Clintons do, but the Clintons are above the law. When you come out and you say to the public, "This is we're doing this voluntarily," and then you take $1 million, that's illegal. That's called fraud. So we'll look at that. We'll look at that case. It is it is very, very sad. It is. Is it targeting Trump's inner circle? Of course it is. What better time to do it 3 months before an election? What better time to take out Trump's, number one strategist, in my view? Whether they speak about that openly, whether Trump acknowledges Bannon as his number one, or Bannon acknowledges Trump as the boss, as his employer, is not really important. I believe that relationship exists, despite what Trump says. Steve Bannon told Trump what was going on in the middle of the country, and Trump has great instincts. Trump could say, "Yeah, you're right. Let's go take a look," and then they go around covertly. They probably drive around in cars talking to each other, right? So what the fuck is going on here? Right before the election, and they figured it out. And I think that Steve Bannon already has figured it out. I think that he would have been the number one guy, but now he's being charged with fraud. He was arrested and released from down here in the Southern District of New York. Here we go again. This is the kangaroo court. Caesar Sayoc, Epstein died there. Right? This is the shit, right? This is Bernie Madoff, Il Capo. So we're gonna look at all that stuff. But before we do that, kindly become a Patreon of this channel. This fine work that we're doing. We are trying to keep it as honest as possible, as honest as humanly possible, saying what's on my mind, right, based on what you tell me to say, right, basically in the comments. Because that's all I really read, man. I don't listen to anybody. I don't have any friends. I don't have like I pick up the phone and talk to friends. You're my friends. The people that comment. I talk to you more than I talk to my mother. Right? Fucking come on, man. I listen to you guys, right? I read the comments, right? To get a feel, through the, of course, through the dicks. There's a handful of dicks. Very, very few dickery. There's a little dickery doc on the clock anymore, and I appreciate that. Or it's really just a testament to how tough, how truthful we are, in spite of all the trolls that I've exposed, in spite of all of the scum that I have rounded up in my career, the whistleblowing, the stalkers, putting the focus on criminal stalkers like Dave Acton and Thomas Schoenberger, and Lepo the LARPer, Dan Cromer, right? Putting the focus on these fucks. What do I care, right? Or New York's, or the New York's Department of Sanitation early on in my career, and various other municipalities. I think I had bad things to say about the New York State Division of Human Rights in the past, but it seems that so far we have, believe me, I have all the evidence, all the transcripts of all of our conversations. Everything is documented, and we are giving the New York State Division of Human Rights the opportunity to deliver a decision of probable cause in the racist case of "get your white privilege out of here." Right? We're not blowing any whistle on New York State Division of Human Rights, because they are so far doing the right thing. The investigator seems to be poking around and asking questions, and asking for commentary and evidence. And so we're going to say that maybe the hospital is racist, and the hospital is definitely racist, hiring a guy like that, right, and not doing anything about it, lying. So we're gonna at this point. I've had hard things to say, harsh words to say about New York State Division of Human Rights in the past. No denying that. But now we're going to give them an opportunity to redeem themselves by finding this fuck guilty as charged. So kindly become a Patreon of this channel. If any of my videos ever get dislocated or knocked out of YouTube, no worries. Just go to BitChute, click on BitChute, and you'll find all of the deleted videos, mostly the stalkers. The stalkers, what the stalkers try to do is the stalkers try to get you to talk about them, and then they try to attack your channel and say, "See, he's stalking me." It's just a bogus reverse psychology that YouTube knows about, the legal system now knows about. All these guys have been either rounded up or exposed in federal court so far, especially Acton, Goodman to some degree. Definitely Schellenberger. He's in the process of hanging himself. We'll look at that. We'll look at what the latest thing. He just had another hearing, and we'll look at that stuff. But again, the big story today is Steve Bannon goes down, and it is a sad day. And yesterday is a sad day. Is a sad occurrence. Is it true? Is greed unavoidable? Is greed when someone drops $25 million on your lap? Is it inescapable that you're going to shave off $1 million for yourself? Is that just the way it is? I hope not. I hope that there is a better. I hope that we are a better people, and we're not just that. We're not just greedy money grabbers, Steve Bannon. So let's go. No side taken here, but I was just looking at some of the memes on Facebook. I like to look at them once in a while. This is pretty good. This is good. Shh, you fucked up. This is what happens when you're not qualified. So this is an Obama supporter pacifying fucking us or their people, the people that love Obama. People love Obama, man. They fucking love that guy, man. They fucking love that guy. Oh, you know what? I got to tell one other story before I start. Yesterday I said I was going to go over to NYU and I was going to watch and I was going to report on the COVID-19 line out the door. The mandatory COVID-19 testing at New York University and probably other universities. So I went over there and I was ready to do a video, but there is no other story than that. I didn't even. The second I pulled the camera out, I had 2 security guards standing in front of me. I was even across the street, and someone walked over to me. So it wasn't worth. I pick my fights. I pick my fights. I pick my wars responsibly. That was not a war that was worth even talking about, because all it is what the New York Post reported, which is a line of foreign students and out-of-town students lining up to be tested and then quarantined for 14 days. Now, are they quarantined or not? I don't care, because I think the whole thing is nonsense anyway. I don't think they're any threat to New York City or the air, the polluting the air with COVID-19. It's a fucking mockery, man. It's New York City is falling because of this. They got like lines on the, around like in public seating. They have like these boxes where the table is in the middle of the box or in the middle of the circle. You're going to give me, and people are walking around with that face. They're like, because I'm an example of, I don't give a fuck. I walk around the streets. I don't have a mask on. I'll talk to anybody. Distance is ridiculous. That's who I am, right? So I have people walking by me like this, like terrified. You're going to give me the fucking COVID. God damn it. Holy shit. This guy's walking around giving me he's going to give me the COVID. God damn it. Cover your face. You can't live like this, right? Yeah, I can't live like this, right? I'm going to go around and it's just, the next thing I'm doing is I'm just going to walk around pissing and, and shitting on the street, right? It's horrible. it's a horrible, it's really a horrible situation that's going on in New York City. I can't emphasize it enough. The social breakdown, the social ramifications of this mask wearing hysteria of distancing people. It doesn't work in a city. You're isolating people. You're making people miserable. You're not letting people talk to each other, to engage in human activity. You're shutting it off. You're cutting off human activity. Nobody talks to anybody anymore because there's nowhere to talk to anybody. All communication has been cut off. And the only thing you could do is sit and watch YouTube and watch the brainwashing, watch the DNC tell you how your mask represents respect for others. No, your mask represents fear. That's what your mask does. When you put on the mask, not because you have to, because you want to. Right? There's a difference. I put on a mask to get on the subway. I put a little face cover on to, cover my chin to get on the subway, so that I don't get kicked off the subway. Right? Or I put it on in the grocery store out of respect for the owners of the grocery store who are mandated to wear masks. Right? That's the only reason I do that. Right? But walking around in the street, putting my mask on, here, this is what I tell you. Fuck you. Right? But there is a social breakdown going on. That's what I wanted to say. I notice it, and it makes me sad, and it makes me not want to really engage anybody. It actually works, right? Because I don't want to get into conflict with people. It's just I know it's entertaining. I know it's entertaining to watch people lose their minds and swing at you with umbrellas and all that shit. But the point is that it doesn't. We're not learning anything new. The evidence is on the ground that the masked hysteria, and this distancing from each other, based on no science whatsoever, is killing. Wearing masks outside. Who would have ever thought something like that would ever happen? Is killing It's killing the economy. It's killing the city. Right. So anyway, let's try to have some fun. We'll look at some cool memes before we get into the stories. This is pretty funny. I don't know. I'm not laughing too hard. This is a good one. The 2020 Democratic ticket, cop and feel. That's pretty good. I like that. The cop, she claims to be a top cop. And Mr. Feelgood, he can't feel anybody. He can't touch anybody. Right? See how it works to his advantage? You see how the COVID-19 scam works to Biden's advantage? Because he can't get anybody in front of him to care about what he's saying. All you need $2 billion of gaslighting. Hours and hours, 4 nights a week, 4 nights in a row of total mainstream media gaslighting, convincing you that Biden is the man. He's searching for the soul of the nation. You only hear him speak once. In the end, he gave his 10 minutes or 15 minutes. They shoot the old man up with adrenaline, get him fucking nice shot in the ass of whatever. And he's ready to talk. He's talking. He's I'm ready. I'm on the teleprompter. Yeah, what do you want me to do? Read? I'll read anything. And then half an hour later, he's totally exhausted. He goes, takes a nap, and he forgets where he is. Right? So, this is the sad reality, right? This is what we're training our children. We remember, in childhood, we all carry around our childhood. In case you haven't figured it out yet, in case you're not mindful enough and don't know that your previous experiences are guiding you and they make you who you are. When you open your mouth, your whole life experience is with you. I don't know if you realize that. The other part of that is that you can actually you can access those thoughts and erase them or change them or visit them. I do it all the time. It's advanced mindfulness of sitting mindfulness. This is some wooey shit. I know. It doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but read my book, the Wake Yourself Up. It's on my website. It's free. It's ahead of its time. We're probably 10 years ahead of its time. I am, whatever. In that respect, I'm probably 100 years behind in other respects, but in that respect, it's mindfulness, mindfulness of body, mindfulness of mind, but mindfulness of body, where you could actually revisit your childhood by because it's not stored in the mind. The memory is stored in the body, various parts of the body. There is no mind, body, spirit. It's all the same, and you can revisit those thoughts. But the point is that these are the thoughts that these children will remember as they grow old. This is child abuse right here. There's no evidence at all, no science whatsoever to suggest that keeping children apart is going to keep them safe. No children have gotten COVID-19. No children have died of the flu, right? The numbers in New Jersey, only one person under 18 actually died of COVID-19, allegedly. And he had something else. He had diabetes or dialysis. He had renal failure or cancer. He had something else. And he died. Died of his ailments. But these are damaging images right here that these children will carry around forever. Right? They take off their mask, they eat their meal. And what does it say? It does not say, I respect you by keeping a distance. And if it does, it says that I'm sick and I can get you ill. It doesn't say, I'm protecting myself. What is it? I think it says I'm protecting myself from you. I think children will see that and say, I'm a sickly individual. Right? We are sick people. And I'm bad. I'm full of germs. I'm not able to I'm not able. They're not even going to know. Children that grow up in this environment are not even going to know what patty cake is. What it feels like to shake your friend's hand, to share a basketball, to touch a girl, to smell, to be close enough to smell others. The visceral human interaction with one another. Without that, you're creating monsters. You're creating people that don't know how to be near each other. That's what you're creating. You're creating a society of distance. Right? They're trying to make these things permanent. These are permanent moves. There's no, we'll change it later. Where? You're already doing it based on no evidence. So you're creating. I think it will be forever. I think that No Brainer says it's not forever. I disagree. I think it is forever. I think it is. Where's your evidence that it's going to stop? Where? This photograph right here is irrevocable behavior. A year in a child's life to say that I was not allowed to interact with other children, and that if I do in the future, it might come back, is, in my view, is irrevocable. What else? Well, this is insanity, total insanity. Right? How is this good for anybody? How is this good for the country? How is this good for the children? Right? Putting children in boxes with masks on, right? Being watched with lines on the ground. Stay away. It's fucking nuts, man. Oh, here's good. Here's good. I wanted these to be funny. Where is the capital of the United States? The father asks the two children. And the two children, this is 100 years into the future. In the offshore bank accounts of the 1%. Pow! So this is the future. This is 2060. This is education in 2060. Son, what, can you point to the capital of the United States? Sure, Dad. It's in the offshore bank accounts of the 1% right here in the Cayman Islands. So it is now, I know. So Mark's Conte reporting. Let's talk about some of these trolls. If you're, this is insanity right here. So Thomas Schoenberger. To say his name is to invoke hell on yourself. At least it was in the past. Just to mention these guys' names, they would line up with 10 motherfuckers and try to destabilize you. But this dickhead is now in court, and he's hanging himself in Schoenberger versus Gabe Hoffman versus Thomas Schoenberger. This video comes compliments of OG Juan Kenobi, and you watch, listen. So the court proceeding, I don't know how this is getting out, but it's certainly getting out. The judge is trying to, Gabe Hoffman is trying to get an injunction to keep the stalker, the criminal stalker, Thomas Schoenberger, off his back. Schoenberger keeps accusing him of murdering some weird guy in New Mexico with no evidence. He's accusing him of gang stalking and chasing him. It's all bullshit. Schoenberger has stalked, probably 100 people. All the evidence is on the record. I have 35 5-minute stalker videos of Schoenberger stalking me. I keep it as a matter of fact right now, but it's still evidence and could be used as evidence in a federal trial, as well as D. George Schwaggart, Dave Acton. I also have 130 individual stalker videos of him stalking me by name as evidence. So I know who these people are. People think, I don't know who they are, or I'm just watching as a spectator. But here's Schoenberger. He's gone. He's mentally ill. Right? I've been saying it all along that these people are criminally insane. Criminally insane means that they're insane first, and that their insanity brings them to criminality. Right? It's not a game. It's not a business. They try to tell you, I'm in the business of gathering information. No, you're fucking psychopaths. You're criminally insane people that think you're doing something positive with your life, but really all you're doing is digging your own grave. That's first, and you're harming people all along the way. So let's look a little bit of
with this issue. So I just need to correct the record on that. By Monday, I will get it.
That's Schoenberger's phone number if you want it. It's put out there, 669-666-1378 for Thomas Schoenberger.
Thank you very much, Ron. I will take a look at that case that you've also mentioned and present comment on that if appropriate.
And it's fine. Do the same thing. You can comment on the phone.
So that's the judge. I know it's a little hard to hear, but this is all we got, right?
Life. It deals with whether or not you can, in fact, enjoin anyone from posting on the internet. It deals specific to that issue. So take a look at it. It was in a stalking case.
You're going to hear Schoenberger speak in a second.
It was actually a petition against cyber stalking is the way the case began. So it's a good discussion of the law. I think both sides should look at it and be prepared to, if you need to, comment on it and submit your proposed orders. But go ahead and get that done for me, please. And I will.
Yes, sir. And if I could ask just a question. I had asked for an emergency motion for injunctive relief for suppressive gag order. Can I submit that Monday along with it?
So Schoenberger is asking for a gag order against Gabe Hoffman. Schoenberger is being sued, and he thinks now the case is in his advantage. The guy is a psychopath. He has no idea. He's on drugs, too. I'll play another video where he's high as a kite. And he's praising Dave Acton while he's stoned out of his mind. He can't even sew a sentence together. He doesn't sound as high in this video, but he's probably fucked up.
Along with further evidence, would that be okay with you, Your Honor?
Well, I'm not clear what you're submitting. What do you mean by submitting?
Well, what's happening is the 20th.
And now he gives a conspiracy theory with no evidence in front of the judge that Gabe Hoffman needs to be silenced.
For people that are listening in, they're going to the internet and they're saying horrible things about me. I believe
because you're a horrible person. You're a criminal stalker, and we want to help you. We want to get you some help. First, we want to stop what you're doing, and then make you see that you're a fucking criminal.
My personal belief that Gabe Hoffman is part of a gang, and that he's part of this, and that this is further.
So, in his crazy mind, anybody like myself that sees what's going on, that the guy's a stalker and he's finally been stopped, stalking 100 people. If you support that view, based on the evidence, then you're stalking him. You see how the reverse psychology? Acton is the same way. Anybody who doesn't support him or criticizes him, it becomes the stalker. That's the reverse psychology. and then they take it to the salesman, Lepo, Dan Cromer, and then they try to sell it. They create a website, they create a YouTube channel, and they invite another 10, 20 totally dedicated psychopaths to echo the arguments, right? Give them a platform. That's how this works. Right? That's actually the gang stalk, where you got a ringleader like Lepo the LARPer, Dan Cromer, put together and give platform to people like Schoenberger, who he gave hours and hours of time to, talking about him, letting him playing all his little stalker videos and saying banging on a fucking cowbell, trying to convince people that it's worthy of listening to. And he did it with acting. He gave hours and hours and hours of time to a criminal psychopath, George Webb's brother. Right? And he did that. Right? Here's Schoenberger. This is important stuff. Right? This is online stalking in the modern age. This is what it is. These guys got to be, this phenomena of stalking people because you think you can. It's got to stop. Right? And so these cases, and certainly my investigation into it sets precedents. It exposes who they are. Why do they do it? Who the hell knows? But I've given you so many examples of it. It does border on an extortion ring, right? There is, if I can make your life miserable, right, and you have nowhere to run. If I'm going to devote 24 hours and 7 days a week to making your life miserable, and then at some point, the miserable person will turn to the criminal and say, okay, what can I give you to get out of this? It's like not fighting with the burglar. It's like not fighting with the guy robbing you on the street. You just hand over your wallet. It's only got $20 in it anyway. So what? Big deal. Here, you want my $20? $20 to get you out of it is nothing. Right? That's what they do. That's called extortion. On the street, it's called robbery, and you go to jail. But online, it is a form of, it's a soft extortion. Right? Make you miserable, make you crazy until you give them something, and that's how they operate.
Defamation and reputational harm that is going to show up on the internet, and as I said before, I'm not going to respond to it out of respect to your wishes. But what I'd like to do is resubmit my emergency motion for injunctive relief for suppression gag order on Monday. I'd also like to add a supplemental with further evidence.
He's just talking ridiculous about how, with no evidence, Schoenberger has not provided one piece of paper of evidence, one recording, one tweet, one anything that Gabe Hoffman is somehow stalking him. There are hundreds, probably 1,000 stalker videos and or tweets that Schoenberger has directed at Hoffman with no evidence. And Schoenberger now goes to court trying to convince a judge to give him a gag order against the other guy with no evidence. It's just insanity.
Evidence on Monday, and then of course I'll have to look into the denial. I do have one of the attorneys.
Just imagine that you had to deal with a scumbag like this. This guy's, he made up stories about me. I kicked the woman. I killed the baby. I'm a, I've 25 felons. The guy's a creep. Guy's a kook. I don't know why he never said I killed Isaac Cappy. I'm sure he was going to get around to that. Why don't you say that? Why don't you say that, Tommy boy? Say, fucking, I killed Isaac Cappy too. Right? Why not? Just pile on.
Who Hoffman is up against.
So if you want to watch that, it's at OG's website over there. I'll drop you the link here. So the link is in the comments, and you can watch the whole thing. He went 3 hours, but I don't think the whole. I think he talks. I think OG talks after that. But anyway, you can watch that and enjoy. But here's Schoenberger. This is fascinating. Listen to this shit.
So somebody asked me about Dave Acton.
This is recent. This is like 2 or 3 days ago. Now he's high as a kite. He's home again. Listen. It's definitely strung out on something.
And the reason why I hold his investigations in high regards
So there he is confirming he's working with Dave Acton. I hold his investigations in high regard. His investigations, Dave Acton's, every single investigation he's conducted, every stalker campaign where he stalked Goodman, he stalks everybody. He stalks his brothers, his mother, his father. Have all flopped. Every single one of them have been proven to be frivolous. But nonetheless, in a drug-induced stupor, Thomas Schoenberger endorses the actions of Dave Acton, D. George Swaggart, George Webb's crazy brother.
So somebody asked me about Dave Acton, and the reason why I hold his investigations in high regards is that he zigs when other people zag. Other people will take something obvious and will extrapolate on it. What Dave does is unusual. You know, I got a compliment from Sir Colin Davis. He was long-term conductor of the London Symphony, and he had won many awards in Italy and Germany and so on and so forth for.
The total liar. This guy probably doesn't even play piano. That's the speculation. We've never seen him actually touch a piano. He claims to be Sophia Music, and all those clips are his, and he's a composer. He's a junkie. He's an obvious liar, criminal, and now a junkie. That's who Thomas Schoenberger is. Straight up criminal junkie.
His interpretation of Berlioz and Prokofiev and Mozart. And
I just want to play one more clip, and this is the guy he's praising. This is Dave Acton in his finest. Listen to this.
Everybody, it's Dave checking in. Hi, George. Actually, I should say hi.
This is him attacking his family. Right? This is on my website, marcusconte.com. You can go to the Conspiracy Brothers, George Webb, Dave Acton are schizophrenic by nature. You can read the article. It's in there.
Hi, Bobby. Robert Allen Swigert of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Hey, Bobby, you remember what I did to Wesley. What was that? Was that 10 years ago? What he did to my car? I guess some people would say I was unfair to him. I got him fired from his job. I think I broke up his girlfriend relationship, crushed him into the dirt, something like that. I'm going to do that to every one of your kids now. So George can watch it. How many kids you got, Bob? 5? Yeah, they're all going to lose their jobs. They're all going to have family problems. It's going to be horrible. All because of George. That's too bad, isn't it? Sorry, Bobby.
So in his psychotic, schizophrenic, criminal mind, he is attacking his brother. He's attacking his brother, Bobby, saying that I'm going to destroy the lives of all 5 of your children because of his other brother's actions, George, what did George Webb do? George Webb started a website or started a crowdsourced thing with Jason Goodman. And that's his anything to do with Jason Goodman, anything is grounds for him stalking you to the day you die. For me, that was it seemed to be the principal argument that Dave Acton, the psychopath, made at me. He tried to say that somehow I was involved with Jason Goodman and I was in a higher conspiracy to shut him down and shut his case down. It's all nonsense. It's just an educated observer. This is what I do. I report news and I expose criminals like you. So anyway, but there's the evidence. I mean, if you want to watch it, if you want to look at it, it's on this page, and you can see it. I mean, there's that. There's him confessing, telling you about his family having schizophrenia. This is not privacy violation. He put this on YouTube. These were taken down from YouTube. Or siphoned from YouTube. They might still be up there. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm sorry for that long. There's nothing else to talk about. You want me to play Joe Biden's speech? I'll play Joe Biden's fucking speech. Right? So this video right here, I just want to show you something. 4 hours and 39 minutes. Right, the convention.
Streaming on ABC News Live.
It's just
and
nothing.
the challenges he has overcome in his life, all of the loss and resilience.
Oh, he's so.
So many people don't know this, but there's a new program this year that will literally put money in your pocket for solar panels.
In his past. And
it's a 4-hour infomercial, 4.5 hours infomercial for Joe Biden. But what I want you to observe is You don't have to watch it for 4 hours. It's the usual bullshit. All the Democrats lined up to kiss Biden's ass. They're probably all being paid. The billionaires have spoken. The ruling class has spoken. I told you way in the beginning that the money was behind Joe Biden. Who said that? Didn't I say it? I mean, it looked like for a while that Sanders could have overcome that margin of cheating. But when people were saying Kamala Harris is the pick, when people were saying it's Tulsi Gabbard, it's Elizabeth Warren, no, I said follow the money. The money has spoken, and the money very early on in the campaign was behind Biden, and now they're dumping big money into moderate policy to keep things the same. They are the conservatives. The people that call themselves conservatives are not conservatives at all. The billionaire class is conservative, meaning that they want to keep things the way they are because they're profiting from it. They don't want change. They don't want you set shit up. You set up banking. You set up, ways of making money, the way commerce works, trade, and then you keep it that way, and you make more and more and more money while you siphon out the wealth from everybody else. And changing those plans and changing that system creates disbalance for them, the billionaire class, right? And then wealth, some of the wealth at least can hit regular people. So that's all these things are about. These are infomercials. And I wanted to point out that no live chat and that the thumbs down, I gave it a thumbs down, is higher than the thumbs up. All right, so some of the comments, Dawn, we missed it. Please get out and vote in person. Really? Don't mind me. Just came to see Andrew Yang. There's other comments that aren't so flattering. Here's some comments from AB. This is NBC comments. Those who act corruptly are not decent. Media, the biggest problem facing America. So here we got some honest thought. Made in the U.S. Come on, man. Was like a long-awaited, deserved American lullaby. That's what it is. It's a lullaby. That's what Joe Biden is. He's an old senile guy. Well, you want to listen. He actually was. He seemed a little alive. But the whole pitch is that Joe Biden is passionate and loving and caring. He's a caring family man, and he's going to be there for you and your family.
I know that deep black hole that opens up in the middle of your chest.
God!
That was very timely.
Is that what your back is saying right now?
No.
Roll away the pain on the chirp.
And you feel like you're being sucked into it. I know how mean and cruel and unfair life can be sometimes. But I've learned two things. First, your loved one may have left this earth, but they'll never leave your heart. They'll always be with you. You'll always hear them. And second, I found the best way through pain and loss and grief is to find purpose.
Why don't you just drink yourself to death? It's a lot shorter. So anyway, that's the end of the DNC convention. It's now over. Last night, Buttigieg spoke. Andrew Yang spoke. Biden gave his acceptance speech. I accept your nomination. You don't accept the people's nomination because the people didn't nominate you. The people nominated Bernie Sanders. The people were out in numbers to nominate Bernie Sanders, and your team cheated. I cheated him. Bernie Sanders, not the chosen individual. So anyway, that's that. So let's talk about Biden, Steve Bannon. Sorry it took so long to get to it, but this is crazy shit right here. Right? So I probably should have done more on this, but the LARPer thing kind of sucked up a lot of time. So Steve Bannon, the man, the myth, the legend, the genius, right, has been arrested in New York, Southern District of New York, on fraud charges. Let's listen to a little bit of what Fox says, and then we'll continue.
Quickly back to Lower Manhattan right now, where Steve Bannon will again be facing formally these charges that he was trying to skim off the top of a $25 million We Build a Wall fund that promised that no money was going to anyone else but the building of that wall. David Lee Miller on what he could be facing right now. David Lee.
Hi, Neil. The court appearance is now underway. It is a remote court appearance because of the pandemic. So, Steve Bannon.
That's not true. Steve Bannon walked right out the front door. Fox had that wrong. The New York Times published a photo of Bannon walking out the front door. If that's authentic, Steve Bannon, the former White House chief strategist, leaving Federal District Court in Manhattan on Thursday. Fox incorrect by saying that.
And is not actually in the courtroom. This is a electronic
Yes, he was.
link. But moments ago, he entered a not guilty plea. The former campaign manager and advisor to President Trump is charged with 2 counts, conspiracy to launder money as well as conspiracy to commit wire fraud. And this is based on a newly unsealed indictment that says a crowdfunding campaign for We Build the Wall raised more than $25 million, some of which Bannon and 3 other men allegedly put in their own pockets. A portion of the indictment says, and I quote, the defendants each received hundreds of thousands of dollars in donor funds from the We Build the Wall, which they used to pay for a variety of personal expenses, including, among other things, travel, hotels, consumer goods, and personal credit card debts. It goes on to say, quoting again, the defendants repeatedly and intentionally led the public to believe none of their donations would be used for the personal benefit of the defendants. And the indictment even quotes Bannon during interviews and public appearances as saying, I did this kind of as a volunteer, and we're a volunteer organization. The indictment says through an unnamed nonprofit, Bannon controlled more than $1 million, some of which he then diverted for his own expenses. It quotes Bannon in interviews and public events, saying again, this was a volunteer organization. A year ago on Fox, he talked about the success of this border wall campaign.
There's a clip. There's just a pause.
We have stopped the incursions 100% since we built the wall. I'm down here in Arizona. This private group is We Build the Wall that the triple amputee hero Brian Kolfage, the Air Force veteran, has founded. We've raised about $25 million.
And you just heard Bannon mention Brian Kolfage. He has also been indicted. Authorities say as part of the scheme, the men used fake invoices and fake accounts. And when they feared that they were under some type of investigation, they allegedly then used encrypted software to communicate during this alleged conspiracy. If convicted, Bannon and his co-defendants, Neil, each face 20 years on each of the 2 counts. Again,
So that's Fox's spin. New York Times, and then I have the indictment. We'll listen to what Trump says. Right? Steve Bannon is charged with fraud. New York Times reporting. We Build the Wall campaign. Mr. Bannon and 3 others are accused in a scheme to use funds raised for construction to pay for personal expenses. I'm going to read the indictment, the parts of it anyway. But let's look at the spin first. Interestingly, the New York Times points out that Bannon was arrested on a $35 million, 150-foot yacht belonging to one of his business associates, the fugitive Chinese billionaire Guo Wengao, law enforcement officials said. So Steve Bannon, President Trump's former advisor and an architect of his 2016 general election campaign, was charged on Thursday with defrauding donors to a private fundraising effort called We Build the Wall, which was intended to bolster the president's signature initiative along the Mexican border. Mr. Bannon, working with a wounded Air Force veteran and a Florida venture capitalist, conspired to cheat hundreds of thousands of donors by falsely promising that their money had been set aside for new sections of wall. According to a federal indictment unsealed in Manhattan, the fundraising effort collected more than $25 million, and prosecutors say Mr. Bannon used nearly $1 million of it for personal expenses. And as I said, they arrested him at 7:15 a.m. on Thursday on a $35 million boat. They went out to the middle of the fucking boat. Working with the Coast Guard, special agents from the United States Attorney's Office in Manhattan and federal postal inspectors boarded the yacht off Westbrook, Connecticut, the officials said. Mr. Bannon, 66, was on deck, drinking coffee and reading a book when the raid occurred. The criminal charges filed a week before. He's living pretty good, right? Fucking stole $1 million. Did he steal $1 million? Did he steal more? He's sitting on a $35 million yacht, right, off the coast of Connecticut. He's suffering. Right? He's having a rough time. Having a rough time, Steve Bannon. The criminal charges filed a week before Mr. Trump was to accept the Republican nomination for a second term marked a stark turn of fortune. I want to say about wealthy lifestyle. Do you see why people say, well, Hillary Clinton seems different every time you see her? Or you see some of these very wealthy people, they look so happy and so they lie with impunity. They lie like Obama gets on TV and he just spews out all this platitudes on top of platitudes that have no connection no connection to the economy, no connection to the suffering of people. It's just platitudes. And you ask yourself, how does that happen? How are these people able to stay grounded in these lies? And this is how you do it. The guy's sitting out on the ocean on a yacht, right? Quiet, drinking coffee, reading a book on a $35 million boat. Right? Just relaxing, totally disconnected, totally unplugged from the bullshit that people are dealing with, for example, in Manhattan. Stay in your own box, wear your mask. You see the point? You see how the income and wealth inequality, and then he goes back to his very wealthy setting. He goes back to his 20 rooms, and he relaxes, and you know what I mean? And he's got his $1 million in the bank, and his other $1 million in the other bank, and $2 million stuffed up his ass. You see the difference? That's the difference between them and us. That's the difference right there. Now, I'm not making the case that Bannon is a bad person yet. But what I am saying is that there is a tremendous rift between wealth in this country. And a guy like Steve Bannon definitely was, according to this report, how they found him on were you on a $35 million boat lately? Hanging out, drinking coffee, reading a book? No. But he was. The criminal charges filed a week before Trump was to accept the Republican nomination for a second term marked a stark turn of fortune for the flamboyant political strategist. Mr. Bannon first came to prominence when he was in charge of the right-wing media outlet Breitbart. He was one of the creators of Breitbart, where he had aligned himself with the alt-right, a loose network of groups and people who promote white identity. That's not entirely true. That's New York Times racist spin. So anyway, that's what just happened. What just happened? Oh, there. So that's and here's the indictment. What the hell just happened? I just lost something. Oh, there I am. There I am. There I am. Am I frozen? Why am I frozen? Why am I frozen? Why am I frozen? Am I frozen in time? Am I frozen? My shit just went frozen. All right, just bear with it. I don't know why I'm... Look at me. I'm here, bro. I'm here. Let me... I'm going to stop streaming for 1 second. Connect again. I don't know what just happened. So, well, that was a nice attack. I don't know what just happened, but maybe if I refresh the page, just give me a 1 if you can hear me. You can hear me, but my video is not moving, right? Is that what's going on? I'm frozen in time right here, right? Okay, you can hear me. You're froze up just your picture, Marcus. All right, my picture is frozen. I don't know much to say about that. So you'll just have to look at me looking at that. But I can you could see me clicking from screen to screen. So something happened, and I'm still here, although it's not moving. Right. Okay, so you can hear me and portrait mode. Is it portrait mode? What does that mean? Is there portrait mode? I tried to stop it. If I shut the stream, All right, I can do one thing, and this is risky. I'm gonna shut the software and try to reboot very quickly. So if I lose you, I don't know what to say. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Just stay with me. I'm gonna stop. There we go. Start streaming. Are we back? Are we back? Just stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. Stand by. And we're live. There we are. All right. All right. I figured it out. I am back. Whoa, that was fucking some crazy shit. I don't know what just happened, but it happened. All right. So give me a 1 if we're up. I think you're back. Okay. I'm good. I'm good. So sorry about that. Sorry about that, man. It's fucking Amateurville. I know. So that's the indictment. Let's listen to, I don't think I played Trump. So let's listen to Trump. Let's get Trump on the record saying what happened to Steve Bannon.
I feel very badly. I haven't been dealing with him for a long period of time, as most of the people in this room know. He was involved in our campaign. He worked for Goldman Sachs. He worked for a lot of companies, but he was involved likewise in our campaign and for a small part of the administration very early on. I haven't been dealing with him.
I'm sorry. I'm looking for the chat. Hold on 1 second. I got to just pop this chat out. Pop the chat out so I could see you. Something crashed on my end. I don't know what it is. Now I see everybody. Okay. Let me just fix this. And we are back up running. Sorry. I interrupted Trump. I know. So Trump, one more time. Take it away, Trump.
For a long period of time, as most of the people in this room know. He was involved in our campaign. He worked for Goldman Sachs. He worked for a lot of companies, but he was involved likewise in our campaign and for a small part of the administration very early on. I haven't been dealing with him at all. I know nothing about the project other than I didn't like, when I read about it, I didn't like it. I said, this is for government, this isn't for private people. And it sounded to me like showboating, and I think I let my opinion be very strongly stated at the time. I didn't like it. It was showboating and maybe looking for funds, but you'll have to see what happens. I think it's a very sad thing for Mr. Bannon. I think it's surprising, but this was something, as you know, just by reading social media and by reading whatever it is and by speaking to Mike and all of them, I didn't like that project. I thought that was a project that was being done for showboating reasons. I don't know that he was in charge. I didn't know any of the other people either. But it's sad. It's very sad.
Respectfully, sir, it's not just Steve Bannon. It's Roger Stone. It's Michael Flynn. It's Rick Gates, Paul Manafort, Michael Cohen. What's it say about your judgment that these are the kind of people
well,
who
I
you're
have no
affiliated
idea.
with, and the culture of lawlessness around people who are
there was
involved in the
great
leadership of your
lawlessness in the Obama
campaign?
administration. They spied on our campaign illegally. And if you look at all of the things and all of the scandals they had tremendous lawlessness. But I know nothing about, I was not involved in the project. I have no idea who was, but I can tell you I didn't know the people, the 3 people that were talked about were people that I did not know. I don't believe I ever met them. I don't think that should be a privately financed wall. I don't think it's too complex, it's too big. And we're now up to 300 miles, almost in another week and a half, we'll be up to 300 miles of wall at the highest level. They were even having construction problems. I was reading
300 miles of wall at the highest level. It's like
the little I know about it, I got from you. I was reading where they were having construction problems with the wall that they had a small area just to show people they could build a wall, and they were having a lot of problems where it was toppling over and other things. And I didn't like it because I didn't want to be associated with that. We built a very powerful wall. It was a wall that is virtually impossible to get through. It's very, very tough. It's very strong, and it's everything the Border Patrol wanted. And I didn't want to have a wall that was going to...
Trump's probably like 70% truth and 30% lying here. He's usually 50-50. And,
be an inferior wall, and I felt this was going to be an inferior wall.
Chris Kobach says you endorsed the wall. Is that true?
I didn't know that. I didn't know about Bannon's involvement, but I didn't know the other people. But I do think it's a sad event. And again, Steve has had a great career at Goldman Sachs. He's had a career with a lot of other people. I haven't dealt with him at all over years now, literally years. And I get
that's a lie right there. That's a fucking lie. Steve Bannon is one of his principal narrators Right? And for Trump to say I haven't spoke to him in years is just not true.
This was a project he was involved in, but it was something that, in fact, you can see I made statements about it a long time ago. It was something that I very much felt was inappropriate to be doing. Okay.
Right. So there you go. So that's Trump. So here's the indictment. I don't want to bore you with this, but you got to look at this stuff. It's a 24-page. I'm not going to read 24 pages, so relax. It's going to read the first page or two, and you see the principal arguments. Now you've heard the spin, but here's the actual claims that are being presented in front of a jury. So in front of at this point just a judge. There won't be a jury trial. It's the Southern District of New York. It's like the witchcraft. It's the witch trials. Nobody's ever innocent at the Southern District of New York. If your case gets put there, it's designed to shut you down, to hold you. Luckily, Bannon got out. Luckily, it wasn't something more severe like a murder, like they tried to pin murder on him or something, or child molesting, and they held him in the crooked jail next door that where they killed Jeffrey Epstein, or Ghislaine Maxwell in Brooklyn, holding them there. Luckily, Bannon sneaked out the back door, and to his advantage, at least he can. They're not going to kill him. They're just going to try to take some money from him. Right? This is money, right? That's what I think. So here's the indictment: conspiracy, count one, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, whatever that means. Number one, Brian. I'll try to say these names once. Brian Colfag, Brian Colfag, Stephen Bannon, Andrew Badolato, and Timothy Shea, the defendants, and others orchestrated a scheme to defraud hundreds of thousands of donors, including donors in the Southern District of New York, in connection with an online crowdfunding campaign ultimately known as We Build a Wall, that raised more than $25 million to build a wall along the southern border of the United States. Now, Trump says he didn't like it. It's showboating. That's a job for government. That's what Trump is saying now. To induce donors to donate to the campaign, Colfag and Bannon, each of them, as detailed hereon, exerted significant control over We Build a Wall, repeatedly and falsely assured the public that Colfag would not take a penny in salary or compensation, and that, quote, 100% of the funds raised will be used in the execution of our mission and purpose. Because Bannon publicly stated, we are a volunteer organization. Now that's pretty damning, especially when you're operating in the public sphere. Bannon is out in front of the camera saying, it's I don't take a dime. It's all donations. I'm a volunteer, and then he takes $1 million. Right? They got the paper trail. They got the electronic trail of money leading back how they split the money up. Very specific ways in which they divvied up parts of the money. The other monies are frozen. I don't think they gave a penny to the Wall Foundation. So what is this? What is it? Here's Steve Bannon, master strategist, genius in many respects, creating a foundation that plays into the fact that people want a fucking southern border wall. People want the wall. Build a wall, right? That's what Trump ran on. So Bannon created an organization to take money from those people so that they could put money towards that ambition, build a wall. It sounds reasonable, but why did they have to lie about it? Why did they say, I mean, what's the shame anyway? Would it be shameful for officers of a nonprofit organization to be paid for their work? I don't think so. I think to some degree, if you could raise $25 million and 1 million is operational, or even 2 or even 5 today, and you're going to give 80% of that money, pass 80% of that money on, and continue to do that kind of fundraising, I think that's respectable. I don't think that is something bad whatsoever. But when you come out in front of the cameras and you lie about it and you say, no, we're not taking any money, that in some people's minds, that's the only way they'll give money, as if all of the money goes to the wall. Or maybe that's just speculation. I don't know that. But that was definitely their thinking. Let's just say we're not taking any money and we'll make more money that way. And then we'll, at some point, pass the money on to the wall venture, which they never did because the Southern District seized all those bank accounts, according to this indictment. So those representations were false. In truth, the four defendants collectively received hundreds of thousands of dollars in donor funds from We Build a Wall, which they each used in a manner inconsistent with the organization's public representations. In particular, Colfag covertly took more than $350,000 in funds that had been donated to We Build the Wall for his personal use, while Bannon, through a nonprofit organization under his control, Nonprofit One, received over $1 million from We Build the Wall. So that's how they move the money, right? The money comes into We Build the Wall, and then they set up another nonprofit and move the money into the other nonprofit and pretend that it's a consulting firm doing other very important work. Meanwhile, it's just a slush fund. Put the money there, and then I have access to that money, and I take it out and I put it in my pocket, and I go sit on a $35 million boat that's not mine either, and I drink coffee and I read a book. Or maybe I write a book. So those are the allegations. You could read it for yourself. There's a lot of stuff. Just Google, Steve Bannon indictment, and you'll find it. I don't have. This is a PDF, so I don't have it. I don't have it to link to it. But those are the allegations. Pretty damning. Pretty official. Signed and sealed. Right. Towards the end, they show you where. These are the how they seized the money. Right. Any and all funds. So they froze counts. The We Build the Wall Inc. accounts, Capital One, Bank First account, Wells Fargo, U.S. Bank account, Wells Fargo, Penn Fed Credit Union, First Bank account, America First Medical LLC, SunTrust Bank. So they were laundering the money, right? Land Rover. So what do I think? What do I think about this? So Mark Conte reporting. It's pretty damning, right? It's pretty ugly. It's pretty damning evidence that the Southern District of New York has gathered on Steve Bannon. Is this even remotely close to what Hillary Clinton did with the Clinton Foundation, lying to Congress 7 times? Destroying, email evidence, destroying government evidence as Secretary of State, all of her emails, destroying it, quid pro quo, using the Clinton Foundation as a giant slush fund to return government favors, right up there with Obama. It's not even close. This is not even close to what Hillary Clinton did. But nonetheless, because of the way the system is set up, you can't go after a former first lady who's married to a former president of the United States. And Trump will benefit from the same kind of immunity when he leaves. Although they'll try to smear his reputation, there's no way that in our system that a sitting president would ever be indicted for crime. And that's precisely how they'll proceed with Trump when Trump leaves office. Just like they handled Bill Clinton, just like George W. Bush, weapons of mass destruction, just like Obama. None of these people will ever go to jail because there's unspoken immunity that they have because they are our leaders. They are people that were in charge of the military. They're not going to ever see a day in jail. But guys like the low-hanging fruit, guys like Steve Bannon will. Steve Bannon could end up just like Flynn. Would Trump pardon? Is Trump going to pardon Steve Bannon on the way out? Of course. Of course Steve Bannon will never, this is a kangaroo court. This is going after people that shouldn't have been gone after. Is Steve Bannon guilty of what they're saying he did, laundering money and taking money and going out in front of the cameras and saying he wasn't going to take money? I would imagine thus far he probably did some of that. And for that, is there forgiveness there? Is there a way of forgiving the guy for what he did and such? I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's guilt. So let's let Mozart take us out. So thank you all for joining me in the chat. I can't see the participants. Participants, Bebop is here. Bill West, thank you for joining us. Bodacia, Farm Cat, Gitmo Holiday, JB is here. Jason Walsh, John Balco, Liz Rivard is here. No brainers. Papa Bear, no fucks left. Raymond Duncan, Sassafras, Sterling Price on the wrench, my brother from a different mother in the Lake of the Ozarks. In the Ozarks, and Vinny D. Martini on the wrench as well. The enforcer, Vinny D. Martini, is here. Vanderloo and Weevil Girl, who is now out as a girl and no longer Weevil Boy. Thank you all for joining me. And, stay sane, stay centered in all this craziness that's going on in the world. And there sure is a lot, especially if you're from my neck of the woods, man. Shit is getting nuts, man. Shit is getting so unlivable that we have to find other ways to live, I guess, right? Find other ways to live, because the old way doesn't work anymore, and that's fine with me, man. I'm all about change. I don't mind. I look out into I look out in New York City. I see the field, right? The old ball fields, right? You go out into the park and there's old ball fields, and there's no more baseball because you're not allowed to play baseball or throw a football. That's illegal. Right? Sporting events are illegal, but laying out on the ball field is fine. And I'm all for that. I'm all for using that ball field to stretch and lay down, as opposed to baseball, which I never liked anyway. So ride the change, people. Ride the change. Don't let it kill you. Don't let it destroy your life, right? Just because the world falls apart around you, it doesn't mean you fall apart. Is basically what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so thanks everybody. Peace out. Mark's Conte report.